Humans at the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got some new stuff to look at for our beautiful game we all know and love. I made a quick community post about this last night, but the OCG announced two new products that they're actually going to make in English. Essentially, this is just I don't want to call it a ploy, but a marketing strategy to help appeal to some of the people who live in OCG territories whose main language is English. It makes it easier for them to get into the game, so they're just printing English cards in the OCG. I'm sure there'll be something, the backs will be different on the card, so you'll probably be able to know the difference between OCG and TCG versions of that, but yeah, just so you know, that's kind of like a cool thing going on there. They also announced a structure deck for, with this in English, a Dark Magician and a Blue Eye structure deck. At this point, I'm assuming they're not going to have new cards. They could, and then that'd be much more interesting, but since it's the first English products, my guess is they're just trying to get the basics out there. Nothing new at this point in time, but we'll see. So that's cool. But as for today, we're actually taking a more closer look at NEMLERIA. Whatever. They got a new trap card. It's cool. You guys have heard me. I've not been the biggest fan of this archetype so far. But this card definitely helps. This archetype, this little engine has like a good couple of flaws, but this definitely helps them out for sure. So this guy is NEMLERIA Repet. This is a continuous trap card. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control another NEMLERIA card, you can banish up to 3 cards from your extra deck face down, except for Dreaming NEMLERIA, to activate the appropriate effect. If you only banish 1, you can add a NEMLERIA card from your graveyard to your hand. If you banish 2, any damage you take this turn is halved, so save yourself from some damage. And 3, send 1 level 10 beast monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. So that effect is a decent interruption. It's actually not bad at all. Plus the fact that it's combined into a continuous trap, so that way you can fire this essentially every single turn, potentially, is really, really nice. You know, there are some downsides here. The fact that you have to send a level 10 beast you control to the graveyard kind of stinks, but it's kind of offset a little bit by the fact that, like, on your opponent's turn, you could use this effect to, you know, blanket negate all your opponent's monsters, and then on your turn you could use this first effect just to add back the level 10 beast you sent, because it'd have NEMLERIA in the name most likely, and then you'd be able to just summon it again and reset up so that you can use this again on the opponent's next turn if you need to. So that's kind of cool. I think it's a good card for them. I really do. Now the theme overall, where does that place this theme, NEMLERIA? This helps because my biggest complaint, and anybody who watched this, and some people disagreed, but my biggest complaint with NEMLERIA was they do not have a good payoff. This is an engine that, like, a lot of times would just put 2 bodies on the field that didn't offer any interruption, at least after the first wave. Didn't do much, and then, yes, Dreaming NEMLERIA had a good, like, effect on turn 3, where, like, it came back and it, like, threatened to banish, like, everything your opponent has, but that's way too slow, and you have to like be slowing your opponent down in the meantime, which the deck didn't have any tools to do. So now the deck actually has some of these tools, which is cool. I believe now, because like in the second wave, this is the 3rd wave card. In the second wave, they got the cake guy who can, like, non-targeting Book of Moon when he's summoned, and they also got a trap that can quick effect summon out the cake guy on the opponent's turn. So it'd be like a non-targeting Book of Moon effect, but even then, if that's literally the only interruption the engine sets up, that's not enough. Luckily, they also got a guy who can search a trap, so now we get like a couple of different nice tools. We get the potential to, I think, search this or the other trap, or if you already have one, get both, which is nice. I think my biggest gripe with the deck now, because I do think they have like different alleyways they can go for to get interruption, my bigger question with the deck now is it worth it? we've talked about stuff. We've talked about engines like the Adventure engine and other engines like that, where the Adventure engine is like 3 Water Enchantress, 3 Rite of Aramasir. You want to draw those. But you also have to play Fateful, you have to play a Griffin Rider or an Illegal Knight, and you have to play the Equip spell. So you're playing like 3 cards you don't want to draw, 6 cards you do want to draw. Is that a worth it ratio for the times you do draw the essential 3 of you're adding to your deck of cards you don't really want to draw? Same thing here. NEMLERIA is good. The regular spell is that searches NEMLERIA, I think it searches NEMLERIA, is good. And like the continuous actually works on its own now because the level 10s actually get you into interruption. So you could argue there's potentially 9 cards you actually like don't mind seeing in the deck. But if we're playing this deck like this, you probably have to play the level 10 that searches a trap, the level 10 cake guy you want to summon off of the trap from the deck, and you probably need to play at least another level 10 I think you have to tribute a level 10 for the other level 10 that searches the trap. So you have to like summon 2 of them, the one that searches the trap and another one, just to have a name to tribute it to search the trap, and then the trap summons the cake guy. So you have to play 3 level 10s. They're not, I don't want to call them dead or garbage cards to draw, but when your engine is getting them for free anyway, you don't really want to see them. So it's kind of like Griffin Rider, where like, okay, drawing Griffin Rider doesn't stop you from getting the full value off of your engine, but it just means you're losing a card in hand, essentially. You would rather that be a flex card, another piece of another engine or something like that. And then on top of that, you have to probably play a copy of each of these traps. Again, you get them pretty for free, and so hard drawing them is kind of like, meh, I was just going to search this anyway. And I guess the silver lining there is your standard combo, your 1 card play, only searches 1. So if you open 1, you get to actually annul both. So that's actually okay. But still, not cards that you optimally want to draw. So 9-ish starters for 5-ish bricks. That's kind of more what we're talking about. And again, I'm using the term brick loosely, but still trying to make sense of that there. Plus, this is a pendulum-based archetype. It stops you from summoning from the X deck, except for pendulum summoning, I think, in a lot of cases. So, like, that's kind of interesting. But we just have to keep an eye on it. It is an interesting little thing. I do think it's a little more playable than it was before. The question is just kind of what I'm talking about. Is that like an engine that has 5 cards you don't optimally want to draw? Is that too many? Because we're not even talking about whatever other engines you're trying to combine with this one to make a full-on deck. What bricky cards come from that strategy? You know what I mean? So we're going to have to see. It is a lot more interesting, though, because this is a pretty good card. I like that it's continuous, and it does what it does every single turn. So it keeps like rotating you into more stuff, which is cool. But we're going to have to see if it's really going to be worth it at the end of the day. But very cool, very interesting for them. I do think this puts them in a more interesting spot. I do think this moves them up a little bit in my mind of like how much I respect this engine, and we're just gonna have to wait and see because we're gonna have to see if the engine even sees any uptick in play from Dune in the TCG. I don't really think I've seen any real results from this in the OCG. So we'll have to see if the TCG can come up with anything spicy there. But yeah. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Only 1 more card, so I think that leaves us at 47 more cards to be revealed in the next 20 days. So a ton of stuff coming down the pipeline from Age of Overlord. I will keep you posted whenever anything news-wise drops there with new cards. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. You want to stay up to date on all the Yu-Gi-Oh! News coming out. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.